So whether you are Dr. Jogendra Singh, Dr. Anand Bachawat, or this sweet little guy, all of us starts our life from the single cell body called zygote. But now here is a question that how from this one cell I turn out to be, which scientists believe to be a heap of 37.2 trillion cells. In this video, we're going to answer this question. In this video, we're going to talk about the story of a cell, and what we are precisely going to talk is mitosis. Well, you have a cell, right? And you want the cell to create a replica of it. So what you want the cell to give off? Well, you want definitely the cell to give its information, and where that information is contained, it's contained in the nucleus. So that is the primary thing that you want the cell to give off to its progeny. So that is precisely what happens in the mitosis, that the story of mitosis, which we consider as in the active phase, is actually how the cell gives its genetic material to its progenies. Now, let's take a look what a typical cell cycle looks like. So this is what a typical cell cycle looks like. It have these 4 phases: G1, S, G2, and M. Now, what happens in the G1 phase is that cell wants to divide, and it has just come out of the mitosis phase, which is actually the phase in which the cell divides. So what the cell wants is to grow. So what it does is the cell should just show growth in size and show huge metabolic activity, and that is precisely takes a whole lot of time of the whole cell's life. And in S phase, what the cell show is that DNA replication. Now that the cell wants to divide, it wants to create copy of the genetic material it have, so that once the cell divides, it does not lose one copy of its own. And then comes your G2 phase, where again the cell shows growth and huge metabolic activity to form proteins that are necessary for mitosis. And in M phase precisely is what the cell division occur. Now let's take a look more deeper into the mitotic phase. So what mitotic phase, that is what we call as the M phase, consists of is prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase, and cytokinesis, where the cell actually divides into the 2 cells, is followed. So let's start packing. We know that a single cell consists of a DNA that is 2 meter long, and believe me, it's a huge lot of chaos to transfer that 2 meter DNA to a different cell, right? So what happens is that cell goes through a phase which you call as prophase, and what happens in this prophase is that you have your cell, and what cell does is that it just start bundling up the chromatin material into these light chromosomes, which could be visualized under the light microscope. And on the same time, you have your centrioles, which are actually making this spindle fibers outside in the cell cytoplasm, so that they can hold on to the chromosomes and do the rest of the thing, right? Rest of the cell organelles, they also just get disappear. Now let's come to the next phase, that is your metaphase. Now what happened in the metaphase is that your spindle fibers attach to the chromosomes, and they just move them into the center of the cell, which we call as the cell plate, and which is precisely and very interestingly is actually the center of the whole cell. And we precisely don't know the exact mechanism how does this happen. And now in the anaphase, what happens is that the centrioles, they just split the chromosomes into 2 parts, into the 2 copies, and they just start moving them toward the poles, right? And so by the starting of the anaphase, it's just the chromosome just gets split and into the single chromatids, and they just start moving toward the end. And this is what we call as the anaphase. And the last is last is telophase, where your large cell and your genetic material has reached at the ends, and now it just got unraveled, and it's just ready to divide into 2 cells. And after that, what comes is cytokinesis, where the cell just divides into two. And obviously here it's just getting divided into two, and the organelles also get distributed, and the cytoplasm also get distributed equally in most of the cases. And I hope you like this video, and thank you for watching it.